What is up, y'all? Manny Carrera, your real estate resource, and this is episode number 39 of Whiskey Wednesday podcast sessions, where we sit with entrepreneurs, influencers, movers, and shakers over a glass of some fine whiskey. Today, we're going to be joined by El Paso's radio personality, Monica Castillo. What's up, Monica?
Hi.
How are you? Cheers.
I'm good. Cheers. All right, so I don't drink a lot of whiskey, but for you, I'm doing it, okay?
She's
so it's going to be
doing
a good little face. I'm going to look that way.
She's making a face. I don't know why it's burning my lips really bad.
It's pretty rough. I don't think that's Jameson.
No?
No, we're gonna have some of this later.
Let's put some Lipton tea.
I'm gonna have some of that later.
We actually have some mixers if you want. You want a little Coke?
No, let's do it. Hey,
Right?
Whiskey Wednesday.
Whiskey Wednesday. Today we're drinking some classic Jameson. What do you think about whiskey? So you're not a whiskey drinker?
I'm not a drinker, period. Yeah, but for you, I'm doing it. What's up?
Dang, I appreciate that.
Not sure what's gonna happen by the end of this, but
3 minutes later. Wake up.
Potentially, I'm not gonna lie, that may happen.
Well, hopefully not. But appreciate you being on.
Sure.
I know you're very busy, as well as you said you thought you were busy, but I know you're just as busy right now.
I am. I've canceled on you 6 times, so this should have been like episode 20, whatever, and now I'm 39.
Yeah,
so
episode number 28.
Yeah, it should have been 31.
You were a little salty
35.
too, huh? Because you were 39.
I was. I'm a little upset that it's 39. I wish it would have been a nice round 40, even like a 42. Like even numbers do well with me, so 39 kind of throws me off, but I'm down.
That's cool.
Yeah, if I drink more, I'll forget about it.
Yeah, you will. You're not even gonna realize there's a camera. So this must be a different environment for you as well, right? You're a radio personality here for 102.
Thank you. This interview was great. Take a shot.
102.
Take a shot. Nope. Take a shot. Start again. One more shot for the mistake you just made. Thank you.
Let's back check that. Cut.
Okay.
Cut. Holy shit. Okay. Shit, this isn't getting cut. I'm sweating right now.
Why are you nervous? I'm the one that doesn't drink. I should be nervous with what I'm about to say.
Holy shit. I mean, comics on 102, yo, I grew up listening to Power 102.
Yeah, that hurts my feelings. That makes me feel really old, by the way.
No.
You're like 2 for 2. Take another shot. You just made me feel old.
God.
Let's go.
You're gonna get me drunk in the first 5 minutes.
This interview gonna be real short.
I'm gonna be throwing up right now in the background. It's gonna be wild.
All right. That's my husband.
You got your husband here as well,
Yes,
right?
yeah, he's
Drink
pretty
some
cool.
tea.
I like him.
We're gonna pass the whiskey bottle in a sec.
Somebody's gotta drive
way
him.
too. Oh, true.
Yeah, safety first.
DD all day. But super excited to have you on. I know that obviously you've been in radio and your name is very well known here in the city. So why don't you go ahead and start by telling our viewers a little bit about who you are and what you do, and then we'll kind of get into it.
Sure. So obviously, like you said, I'm not very familiar with cameras, so please forgive me. I'm usually behind a microphone as I hit the table. Usually behind a microphone, nobody ever really sees me. I don't have to really talk to millions of listeners every single day, but they don't see me.
Daily.
So it's definitely
So how's this
different.
environment?
It's a little bit different. I'm a little upset that you also didn't tell me I had to look cute today, so I'm kind of looking a hot mess. But same thing, if I drink more, I'll forget about it. So
guys, legit, she got here and she looked at the camera and said, "Are we recording video?" You're so used to radio.
Yeah, well, you said podcast. I was like, oh, cool. There's no video involved.
I hear you.
JK.
Yeah, just kidding.
Been in El Paso, born and raised. This is my home, and Power 102's been the only station I've ever worked for. I've been there for 13 years, and I honestly, I made a joke earlier. Like, I'm not that cool. Like, I've worked really hard for where I'm at, and I have fun doing it. I love what I do. I graduated from Loretto Academy, from UTEP, where I was Pater Pete. I was the mascot all through college. Yeah, that was pretty fun. Met the right people at the right time, and I'm very grateful every day for the opportunity to work in radio. I have other jobs as well, obviously, but radio is my passion.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's my heart.
When did you feel like radio was your calling?
When I was Pater Pete. So all through elementary school, super, super quiet, shy, reserved. didn't have a lot of friends, didn't talk to a bunch of people, just
Right.
really all to myself. And when I got to high school, I have an older brother, and he's the one that was like, get involved, get engaged, get into college, you're gonna really need to do something.
Like start networking, meeting people.
Exactly, and I didn't know the idea of that. I was super, super just introverted, beyond belief. And so I started making friends about my junior year, just because I was like, oh, I should need to get involved in clubs and stuff. And then when I was graduating high school, I was looking for something to do at UTEP, and I wanted to be a cheerleader. We all knew that couldn't happen. And so I was like, well, what's the next best thing? And I saw that they were looking for a mascot. And I was like, Peter Pete wearing a costume. I was like, well, that'll work. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And so I called and I called and I called and I bugged the cheer coach at the time every day until he gave me a chance to try out.
No way.
And I got the gig. And
That's badass.
it's interesting when you get to, and I guess radio is equivalent to that. So being in a costume, nobody sees you.
Right.
Nobody knew Peter Pete was a female all through college. My college years.
Yeah.
Nobody. So
You don't know who's in that
I got
suit.
to dance, have fun, be crazy, and I just never talked. But I got to do all these crazy moves, and I got to go on
Behind the
trips,
scenes as
everything.
Peter Pete.
Yeah, and
That's
so at the time, obviously, being Peter Pete, I got to meet a lot of people, met the people at the radio station, and just like I bugged to become Peter Pete, I bugged to get on radio.
Really?
And right place at the right time. They were looking for somebody to work overnights. It was 13 years ago. I got a call to manage the board working from midnight to 6 a.m. on Friday and Saturday nights. And I accepted the position. And 3 months later, I was put on air.
Dang. So
Yeah.
what was that process like for those 3 months? Is it like boot camp, radio boot camp?
Pretty
or-
much.
Really?
Yeah, so I wasn't on air at all. And I know we had a question earlier. So those 3 months, I was strictly focused on learning how to run the machine. That's the most important part. Within those 3 months.
All the components, right?
Yeah. And so within those 3 months, I was being trained to go on air because if you can't tell, I've got a very deep voice for a female. And so my boss,
You have a good voice.
but most females don't sound like I sound.
Do you have to perfect in this 3 month period? Do you have to perfect a radio laugh? Because I feel like if you have an annoying radio laugh, you just get dumped really quick. Like it could get annoying to people.
My laugh
Like, you
has
have a
never changed.
No, so it's just natural.
This is my natural laugh. Yeah. It's,
Okay.
It's kind of annoying. I'm not gonna lie.
Really?
I love it, but it's
I think it's it's a radio a funny laugh.
yeah.
So it's
I like it. It works for me.
Because I've heard some laughs. I'm just like, oh, don't laugh. Stop telling jokes around that guy. Don't tell
Oh, I heard a
jokes.
good joke today. Are you ready?
Yeah.
What do you call a flying? Nope. See, I already messed it up. Oh man.
We're not gonna cut that either because we didn't cut the other
no,
part.
we did. No, Yeah, we're not gonna cut that.
You
All
should
right, let me
take 2
think about
shots
that.
For
Oh.
messing up the joke.
All right, but it's not gonna be as big as yours because you really messed up.
Yeah.
Mine is just like a little cute
True.
joke.
Hopefully.
What do you call a bear with
someone-
no teeth? Oh, a gummy bear.
Gummy bear.
That wasn't the first joke, but I had to get something
You
in there.
legit did. I thought that was part of the joke.
No, oh my God. No, that was just a.
That was a reflect
Ooh-wee.
of the whiskey.
Oh, that did
This
get
feels-
me warm. Holy
This feels
moly.
yeah. This is some.
What is
Yikes. I don't think this is Jameson. Somebody messed with your drink.
This has been in my office.
Somebody messed with your drink.
Oh shit.
So whoever did, cheers.
Cheers to you. Thank you. It's
Ooh-wee.
hot as fuck. Vanya, can you turn
I
on the
can't.
air?
Oh, let's
Yeah.
do it.
Legit?
Yeah.
I don't think it's on.
I'm writing down like keynote.
Oh, sorry. Oh man. Yeah, it's hot. It's pretty warm in here. I think we should chill.
Are you warm?
Get some water too.
It's rough.
Yeah, right? I think we need some ice in it. That's what it is.
That's my first swig.
So obviously getting into radio your first couple months, you're explaining the process. So you're going through a lot of different kind of variables, and they're teaching you the boards, they're teaching you how everything kind of works.
Yeah, so learning the system, and then during those 3 months, training my voice. So when I first started in radio, I was allowed, after about the first month, I was allowed to be on air from like 2 to 4 only in the morning, when it was the least amount of listeners,
Right.
trial and error, because I have to
So
get
that's
a
kind of
feel.
like the beginning shift that they
like
kind
the
of
first few steps.
Yeah.
And so I remember when I went on there, I'd have to record myself every single time, and my boss would have to listen after every shift. So if I worked Friday and then I worked Saturday, Monday she'd listen to my show, right? My bits that I would do. And during all of those 2 months, it was, here's how you can be better. Here's how you can be better, because nobody's perfect. And to this day, 13 years later,
So the critique is there.
Mistake.
They were
100%.
Yeah.
But when I first started, my voice was very high pitched, extremely high pitched, because I was nervous. So opening the mic for the first time, it was like super, super high. And they had to coach me to like, just relax. Like you're talking to a group of friends, like just hang out. I'm talking to you, like just chill, just be Monica. Cause off the mic, I was like this, and she's like, that's the one I want. Like that's the girl.
True.
And so I'm like, okay. But it was like, it's a mental thing. You have to sit there and think like, okay, just be Monica. Like, don't think about the millions of people that are listening. Just think about Monica talking to her friends.
Yeah. And how was that? Especially because you were originally, or you felt like you were an introvert, right? Stepping into a position where now you have to talk to a lot of people, be very, keep that conversation going. So for you to be in a position like that, do you think it was pretty challenging for you?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I think anybody who's not used to it, it's going to be a challenge. But it was fun, and I'm always up for a challenge. So how can I be better? How can I make it different?
Right.
So yeah, for sure, a challenge. I really liked it though.
Yeah, that's cool. As far as like mistakes, obviously you said even to this day you're still making mistakes. How is there really bad mistakes? Is there irreversible mistakes that you can make on radio?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I don't have any good stories though. I'm boring. I ain't got nothing.
Can you give an example? What would be irreversible?
I mean, if you cuss on air, that's always frowned upon. Saying things you don't want to get out.
Right.
I mean, you have so much influence in the community, and you don't want. And I never would, but you don't want to bash people. You don't talk negative about people. You don't cuss. You don't, things like that. Right. You hold an image, and people hold you to that image, so you don't ever want to break that. So I think, once you've built your character, once you've built your personality, like that's who you are. And so straying from that, I think, is what is irreversible. Like the moment you break out of character, you break out of your personality, then people don't know who you are anymore, and you lose that trust. You lose those listeners. You lose friends. That's who you're talking to.
Yeah, because essentially you're really building a relationship with these people, and they're getting to know who you are.
Yeah,
right?
And we share everything about ourselves. I mean, that's one thing I love about radio, and even like this is, I can go out on the streets and people know me. Like people know I'm Peter Pete, and people know where I work, and people know what I do, and people know my husband, and people know my mom, people know my dog, my car. Like they know me, and at first when it was, hey, how's Herman the Honda? I was like, how do you know about Herman the Honda? And they're like, well, the morning show, you just talked about it. And you're like, oh, I did talk about it,
You're listening.
Yeah. Or they ask me, if I'm out on the streets, tell me about your years as Peter Pete. And you're like, wow, like.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. It's fascinating. Like, you don't realize people are paying attention to that stuff. And that's what people care about. They don't care about, they do, but I don't ever go out on the streets and hear... Well, God bless you.
Bless you,
you need some whiskey? Take a shot. You just got into our interview, girl. You guys have a little bit. You gotta have a little one, a little baby one. Girl, we're stopping the interview until you do one.
Oh.
You got a little one. Is she 20? Hold on. Is she 21?
Yes.
Okay. There you go. Before I do that, safety first, guys. Jamie said she's 21.
She's making her drink.
There you go. I gotta be a little baby one. Thanks, baby.
Dang,
let's see. Look at that face. See, everybody's doing it, friend. Everybody's doing it.
It's because it's hot too.
That's what you get for sneezing, girl. I'm telling you, I think
it's like really hot.
Meet our friend. I was all into it, all excited. You gotta take a shot. That's okay, girl. I'm good. We friends.
That's what happens when you sneeze.
Get it. That's right. Yeah.
Well, Monica's here's the party.
Yeah, get it. My bad.
I
got a DD. A true story, I don't drink. I know you wouldn't believe it, but I promise I don't. It's actually really funny. As you can see, I've had like one sip. I just make everybody else drink. That's the kicker. You make everybody somebody else drink and you
Violet
stay
is
sober.
literally so scared behind the camera. It seems like you do drink. Well, it seems like you do.
I don't, girl. She's all nervous. She's like, is this over? Is the interview over?
She's not gonna sneeze anymore for sure.
She's not even gonna breathe. You
I
know?
was thinking for a while.
Her next one, she's gonna be.
I'll have it ready, girl. I'm gonna have it ready. Don't worry.
That was-
You sneeze as much as you want, girl.
Dude, that was mid conversation. That was so
That was awesome. Oh no, girl, I love it. That was great.
So, talk to me a little bit about your experience there at 102. Obviously, you know, they're a very big station here in El Paso.
Yeah.
Number one station
Yeah.
in El Paso.
We're an iHeartMedia station.
iHeartMedia too.
Yeah.
So what has that experience been like for you in 102? And then also, what has that experience been like for you guys to start incorporating bigger outlets like iHeart? And what has that really done to, you know, the exposure?
Just, I mean, I could. Radio
Also-
people stutter, by the way.
That was a three-part question.
That was a lot.
That's like a lot of answers. for
Yeah,
those
you may
three.
have to remind me of some of the
Okay,
questions
yeah,
I don't
let's
get
go
to.
with the first question.
So when we first started, I worked for Clear Channel Communications because
Okay.
that's who Power 102 fell under. So it was Clear Channel. During that time, and I guess this is where I'll tell you. So during that time and all the learning, I started working on the night show after 3 months working overnights with Pooh Hef. That's when Pooh Hef and I started working together. We had the
Pooh
number
Hef's
one
a
night
man.
show. He
Yeah.
is.
His voice
Oh
is so
my gosh.
dope.
That is hands down my brother from another mother. My
That's cool.
mom adores Pooh Hef.
Really?
Pooh Hef is the man for
Your
sure.
mom's met Pooh Hef too?
Oh yeah, Pooh Hef is
Like, I listen
literally.
to him. I don't know who this guy
Pooh
is.
Hef is part of the Castillo clan.
That's cool.
100%. Yeah, he definitely took me under his wing, and he's the reason why. One of the reasons, I shouldn't say the only, but he's one of the biggest factors as to how I was able to learn and grow within the organization and the company. After a couple years, we were bought out by iHeartMedia, which is huge. iHeartRadio Music Festival, Ryan Seacrest, Bobby Bones. I mean, you're talking some big name people. And it changed the entire landscape of iHeartRadio El Paso. It changed
Yeah.
Power 102. It changed ratings. It changed everything just because it was such
There
a
was
big
more numbers
name.
for you guys to look at now,
I mean,
right?
now people pay attention to iHeartMedia. I mean, if I tell anybody Clear Channel, they probably think Billboard. They don't think radio ever. You don't ever think Clear Channel
Right,
radio
right.
anymore. But that's where we started from. And so
Yeah.
iHeartMedia is absolutely amazing. And what it's done just for talent, what it's done for El Paso, what it's just done in general is huge.
Yeah.
And so it's such an amazing organization to work for and company to work for. And what was the last question?
That's crazy though, really quick, just to touch on the iHeartMedia. I think just technology in general has changed the entire landscape of how everything works. Just over the last 10 years, anything that you remember 10 years ago does not function the same way.
Oh, for sure.
You know, like down to buying houses. Real estate's completely different now. Seeing that technological change, how do you feel like, as far as adapting to the technological change that you guys are seeing? iHeartRadio is definitely an outlet. Do you see any other outlets coming towards radio?
Sure. I mean, I don't know. I couldn't tell you which ones, but I mean, absolutely. But iHeartRadio, we've embraced everything from podcasts to
Yeah.
online to regular radio. I mean, we
Right,
have
right.
everything. So we're very familiar. We stay current. We stay relevant. And that's
Right,
what
yeah.
makes iHeart such a great company.
Right.
Like, I mean, I can't stress it enough. Like, think about the people who fall under iHeart. And people don't realize Ryan Seacrest is iHeart.
Right.
They're like, what do you mean Ryan Seacrest? I'm like, yeah, like, think about it. He hosts everything
Yeah.
in the world.
Dude, for real.
He's iHeartMedia. He's one of our
crazy.
sister stations. Like, we can literally say he's a sister station, you know? So it's
That's
pretty
crazy.
cool.
Yeah. So that exposure is there. It's
Oh, for
it's
sure.
insane. And as far as the experience over the last 13 years, how's that been at 102? Is it family based? You guys are
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Cool. You guys have a lot of characters there too.
Yeah.
You guys have a lot of personalities there.
We have a lot of legacy. We have, you know, Patty Diaz, Mike D, Adri on the morning show. We have, oh my gosh, whiskey. I've been there for 13 years. We have mixers who've been there for 20 years. I mean, Jay Smooth, Eddie Mix. It's nuts. I mean, we have so much talent.
Yeah.
And if I say, you know, like I said, Jay Smooth and Eddie Mix, people automatically like, wow, like
Yeah.
I used to listen to them
they're
13
like
years
household
ago.
names.
Mhm.
You know?
They're everywhere. And
Yeah.
yeah.
And one thing I do like about 102 is that you guys are very local, and you guys do, even like Pooh Half. We were talking a little bit about Pooh Half
Yeah.
and what a cool guy he is, but he, even puts local artists on the spotlight, has a little segment for them and things like that. So I think it's really cool that you guys are still staying true to that El Paso city and the people too.
We're El Paso proud.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure.
That's cool. That's really awesome. What are some of the biggest, challenges that you see in radio for yourself, or as a radio personality?
That's a good question.
You could take a sip if you need to think of it.
See, it's because I don't see it as challenges. But I think what's exciting and what's fun is, as a personality, you try to stay as relevant and as current as possible. And it's being the person that people want to hear, and knowing what the community wants you to talk about. Because I could be passionate about something, but nobody else would care.
Right.
So finding those outlets to just get people on board and passionate about a good thing.
Definitely.
I don't even think that's a challenge, but I think it's definitely something that you have to plan for and prep for, and
you have to stay up to date.
Yeah, and what's happening in the city. And
we were even talking a little bit about this earlier, but I think for you, even you look for inspiration outside of your outlets too, because I think that's super important. Even in my industry, like I look at realtors that are in New York, see what they're doing,
for sure.
And it's really important to stay in front of your competition. That way you get all their good secrets and start switching it up, But who are some inspirations for you as far as radio or other avenues? Oh, give the bottle.
Oh my god.
You were laughing too.
Let's see.
God.
Oh my god.
It came in a while.
I don't
So,
go ahead.
Do you need some more time?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I could go to another question.
You can go to another
I have
question.
a lot of questions.
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's go.
What do you think
I'm
it
gonna
takes?
come back to it.
What do you think it takes for somebody to be in radio?
Passion.
Passion?
If you have passion and heart. Radio's changed a lot over the years, not in a negative. It's just changed. Everything changes. Real estate's changed.
Yeah.
Everything changes, right? I think if you have a drive and a willingness to want to do it, I don't think anything can stop anybody from doing what they want to do. I get that question a lot. What do you need to do? How do you get there? And I think it's just having that love and that heart to want to do it. That's it. You just have to want to, and be up for the work. I mean, anything that you do that you want to be great at, it's going to take time.
Definitely.
I worked really hard for a lot of years to get to this point.
Yeah.
And I'm not done working hard. There's more that I want to
Still
accomplish.
so much, right?
Heck yeah. I'm on the middays. What else can I do?
Yeah.
Where else can I go?
It's true. Like you're literally.
Yeah.
And how many hours are you on?
5 hours. 5 hours a day. Mm-hmm.
So after 5 hours, you're clocked out, and you're, yeah. What are some other hobbies that keep you kind of busy?
I work for Topgolf El Paso.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's
Love
pretty fun.
Topgolf.
Yeah, it's
Topgolf
good.
is
It's a good
cool.
place. I do a lot of MC gigs outside of Power. I mean, it's through Power, out of Power, but constantly doing races and nonprofits and just anything that you can think of. I try to sign myself up for, or get called for. And my husband, try to hang out with him when I can.
Yeah.
He's a cool dude.
Is he like golf? A golfer?
Yeah, he's.
Yeah, he's like.
You a big fan?
Top golfer. I love Top Golf.
Yeah,
that's my
it's pretty
favorite.
fun.
Yeah, I joined golf in my senior year. I joined the golf team.
Oh wow!
Just because I was like, okay, it's in high school.
I like how you're trying not to cuss.
Yeah, I know. We were talking about that earlier.
You're bleeping yourself out.
I'm like, beep. I don't usually like to cuss, but when I get excited,
I just blew on my whiskey, by the way, like it was
Did you?
spicy.
Some hot soup. It's too hot.
I did. I was like, That's happened like 3 sips, by the way. Yeah, I know, I did. I was like, oh, maybe that'll help.
That's wild.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're good. What advice would you have for somebody that's wanting to get into radio and kind of doesn't know where to start?
Meet the talent. Meet the talent. Show your face. Let people know who you are. And prove that you're willing to do the work. It's not just, one of my favorite things is people seriously think you just go into the studio, you turn on the mic and you're done. But there's research, there's study, there's everything we talked about earlier, making it relevant, what's going on in the community, what's happening in Hollywood. Let's figure that out. Yeah. What's Kim K up to? What's Kanye talking about now? Yeah. Stuff like that. That's what's important. You gotta be up to deep. Oh, for sure.
News and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild. I think too, like one of my favorite actors is Denzel Washington, and he still to this day takes acting lessons.
That's awesome.
And he's like one of the best actors, like so many awards and everything. But like when it comes down to your craft, perfecting your craft, it's like you have to put how many hours? I know they know.
10,000.
10,000.
Master, 10,000.
10,000, yeah. 10,000 hours. It takes 10,000 hours to become a master at something. So putting in the work, you've been doing it for 13 years and there's still things that you're learning, still things that you're having to kind of get updated with, because it's crazy just to see how technology has really made us kind of chase, the technology instead of technology chasing us.
Yeah, for sure.
It's fucking wild.
It's scary.
Yeah, it's wild. Yeah. Where do you see radio in the next 10 years?
If I knew, I'd be real rich, I'll tell you that. I would have already been there.
I'm not going to tell you.
If I told you. I don't know, but I will tell you that right now the ride is pretty fun. Yeah. And I don't want to look 10 years from now, aside from the hustle. I want to focus on the now and how I can be great today.
Yeah, definitely. What are some of your favorite artists or names that you've had? Nelly?
Oh my gosh, that is my man.
So one of my main clients in Miami
is Nelly.
No.
Oh, get out of here.
His girl's dad. Nelly's, he's still married to Miss?
Nelly's supposed to be married to me.
Nelly's supposed to be married to me.
Oh, he knows. He knows. And Nelly's coming to El Paso, so he's
Yeah, I know.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's
got a free pass?
Mayweather's ex-wife. Nelly's with her. Yeah.
Oh, really?
So anyways.
Did not know that. I don't pay attention to who he's with because he's supposed to be with me.
Her dad was one of my main clients, and he would come in all the time and just say, oh yeah, I was with Nelly this past weekend, showing me pictures of him in a club in New York with him. I'm like,
so what you need to do is call him
so cool.
and get me a meet and greet.
Okay.
That is my man.
Have you had him on the radio? Have you been able to talk to him?
No.
Dang.
No, cool. You have no idea. That is so working in radio, you meet a lot of people. Typically, I don't, it is what it is. People are cool. Everybody's the same. Everybody's an adult, whatever. I think if I meet Nelly, I might pee myself.
Yeah?
I'm not gonna lie.
Really?
I might cry. I might be a hot mess.
Cool.
I'm gonna be that person that's like, oh yeah, like crazy, like videos all over YouTube. Oh yeah.
Castillo, she's on Fit Fam.
Yeah, for sure.
Have you been on
for
Fit
sure.
Fam?
No, let's love you Fit Fam, but
I think Fit Fam's cool as long as you're on there for the right reason, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, if I am.
If you're unsuspected that you don't even know that you're on there, it's probably because you're doing some stupid stuff.
Yeah, Nelly. That's it. Just Nelly.
That's crazy.
Nelly just sums up that whole question. Nelly's my man.
Nelly, we're gonna put Nelly on episode 40.
Nelly.
Just put him.
Really?
That'd be so dope.
Really? I'll interview him. You don't need to be here.
Yeah. Nick Castillo got the podcast.
I'm gonna need this Jameson. Or whatever this is. I don't think that's Jameson.
This is hot.
I don't think this is
super
it.
hot.
I'm joking. I don't know if I can finish this. I was really excited about Whiskey Wednesday.
I actually did pour a lot too, so it's like.
And you're spilling. Look at you.
Shit. Fine. So I always like to talk about El Paso, being from El Paso, born and raised, being from El Paso, born and raised. Talk a little bit about the city. What do you think about El Paso just over the last 13 years that you started radio? What have you seen in the city, and where do you think, the city, what's happening in the city right now?
That's a hit or miss question. You can go one of two ways, right?
If you
wanted to, you could go
agree.
one of two ways, right?
There's two types of people in this city.
Exactly, and I'm a glass mostly full kind of girl.
Yeah.
So, granted, not this one because this is really rough, Jameson.
Yeah.
But I'm really proud of El Paso, and I'm a proud El Pasoan. El Paso's just grown in general, and I think being here to see it is different from somebody who was here, left, and came back.
Yeah.
Because the people who've stayed have seen the struggle that the city has gone through to get a ballpark, to get potentially an arena, to get Top Golf, to get
fighting,
all these things. Yeah.
There's so many fighting. There was so much, I guess, backlash from a lot of people living here that they didn't want El Paso to go that direction.
But El Paso needs to be a tourist town. You want people
there's so much
from out of
history
town
here.
to say, I'm going to El Paso for the weekend. Like, how cool would that be?
I'm gonna go to Juarez. You know, like we're a border city. There's so much stuff to do here. There's so much culture, too, and I think there's so much that the city offers. Because when I lived in Florida, I remember like yearning to see mountains. And when I came back, I was like, oh, dude, like, look at the mountains.
They're still here.
They're still here. I can't believe it. But, like, mountains and then even, like, city views. Like, you never got city views unless you're on a building up top. And here, you could be driving pretty much anywhere in the city. Look to your left towards Juarez and get a beautiful view of the city. So I think the city in general is amazing to visit, but it's grown so much, too. And that's really what brought me back.